Coaches, what's going on? It's Coach Tatum here, back with another clinic series video. Today we've got a really good one. But before we get into that, I do want to go ahead and plug the third annual Tatum OL Coaches Clinic, January 25th. It's going to be an all-day affair. Got pretty much all the slots taken up from 8 to 8. We'll be dropping that clinic schedule on New Year's, so we look on the lookout for that. But let's get into this video today. I'm blessed to have Coach PJ Gibbs. Coach, his video is not working right now, but it's all good. We're going to get into his fast and physical 3-safety defense, which is the nuts and bolts of what everybody's watching. But, Coach, I appreciate you coming on and talking to us today.
Yeah, I apologize for the technical difficulties, but I'm a football coach. I'm not a tech guy. So, Coach, I appreciate you having me on.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm going to back out, and I'm going to put your stuff on the screen. You want to go full screen, and then I'll just remove myself and let you rip.
Absolutely, brother. I thank you so much. So, hey, guys, I appreciate you guys taking the time. What I kind of want to do is I kind of want to do like a little introduction to our the system and kind of how we do things and our alignments and assignments and things like that. So, one of the benefits really that has helped teams that I've coached, and this actually originated in 2020 when I was a head coach for the Japanese national team. We reached out to Coach Tyson Vett, who's now the DC at Cincinnati. He was recruiting our area at the time, and my brother-in-law, actually just taking a job at Wake Forest with Coach Dickert, left Washington State. So he helped me with this as well, Justin Kramer, and but really what it does is it allows you to be extremely multiple and not substitute positions. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go through what type of kids we look for in certain positions, and then I'll go through how we align to 10 personnel, and then get into a couple different things and our different trip checks and things along those lines. So the first thing is we'll look at. Just for reference, like we use colors for coverage, and we'll use different college names for our fronts. But what happens is as we progress and as we move along, the pressures will marry with the college names for the fronts. The kids won't even have to say the front names by the time we get into camp. Usually during spring football, we're blessed enough to have spring football here in Florida. I was in New Jersey for 14 years, and we didn't know what that was. We just knew we ran track or played baseball. But so this is our Baylor front. So this is our 3-down front. So the thing is, like, basically we don't have a lineman in a sense where we could just line up in a 0 and 2-4 rise and go to work. Like, that's just not how our area in Florida is built. I always equate it to being from New Jersey. Those deer, the bear, they'll go hibernate. They get bigger in the winter. Well, our deer down here, all they do is run around and they get lean. So we have lean, fast, strong kids here in Florida. So our defensive linemen got to be, obviously be able to handle the trenches, but also be able to move on the run. So our base alignment, we're going to start in 0 and 2-4s. Our nose, we're going to slant that nose away from the back. We're going to line up our 2 ends. Now, I'll go through the progression of how we teach it. But generally, the end of the back is going to slant and be a B-gap player. Now, this end, depending on what type of offense you're seeing, if it's going to be a gap scheme, 1-back offense, like we generally like to keep this guy in a 5 and play a true 5 technique. If you're seeing more zone, whether it's inside or outside zone, we're going to have this guy be a head up 4 and take the B-gap as well. So as far as what we're looking for is we need guys that are able to be physical enough to stand in the trenches, but also too are able to move from a head-up alignment. And we're going to ask these guys as we get into the schematics. We're going to ask these guys to do a lot more. Our Mike linebacker basically is a plugger because he's gapped up. I mean, the nose is taking the A gap, the end's taking the B gap. Our Viper, who's our nickel, we'll talk about him in a second. He's a C gap player. So our Mike is gapped up. So, like, if you have a kid that's just has a nose for the football and is a downhill runner, absolutely stick him at the Mike. The next is our Jack, would be our quote-unquote will linebacker. But here's what I can tell you about the Jack. He's an A-gap player to the football. But when you get into your 4-2-5 stuff, we're going to stem to it, and that jack's got to be able to play a stand-up 5 technique on the line of scrimmage. So that's the kind of kid that you want to look for. Now, our Viper, he's that nickel or spur or Sam or however you want to put it. But a couple things about the Viper is he's got to be able to fit the run. He's got to be able to play man coverage. And when we play trap, he's got to be able to run with 2 up and in. So, like I said, he's not a true inside linebacker. He's basically like what you would consider like a strong safety, I guess is the best way to describe him. Okay. We do play field and boundary. So our boundary corner and safety have to be a little bit more physical as far as, because we're going to pressure a lot from the boundaries. So those guys got to be able to get in there and mix it up. So like you're looking for more physical tackling type dudes. The field guys, the field corner and safeties, this is where they got to be more, kind of like a basketball player, athletic. Now the field corner is still going to have to play trap and fit the run late, but at that point, the run wherever that is should be taken care of. But they're more open field guys that are able to backpedal and don't get beat deep and things along those lines. Our rover now, our middle safety. Okay, that's got to be your dude. You're going to ask this kid to play low hole robber, play the quarterback one-on-one on zone read. You're going to ask him to play in the box when you go to your 4-2-5 stuff. You're going to ask him to play up on the line and some of the bear stuff that you're going to run. You're going to ask him to play middle third. You're going to ask him to blitz. Basically, this guy is the chess piece, the key to your defense. So again, for us, it's finding that the player that is it's 4th and 1. You're winning the district title. This is the guy you want to be making the tackle. So our middle safety, our rover, 2 years ago, played defense just his senior season. Daniel Lopez got himself a scholarship to Livingstone College in North Carolina. Daniel had 92 tackles from that spot because you're always free to the football. You're unaccounted for in the RPO game. You're unaccounted for in a lot of most of the run blocking schemes because of your depth. So you're free to the football. And then obviously when you're pressuring, you're going to do it. So we move that rover all over the field. So that's kind of like what we look for and how we start. And again, like the one thing about high school football is you're getting, you have returning kids, but you're getting new kids in, right? So a young kid comes up. Like this year for us, this rover is going to be a sophomore. He was a starting corner for me, an all-county kid as a freshman. So we're going to move him to rover because that other safety is graduating. So that's how we align to 10 personnel. All right. Let me get into this, Coach. Let's do this. Yep, we're going to do that. Let's do this. Share. Cool. All right. So now this for us, this is our trips open check. So this is our what we call an Apache check. So what that means is the thing with this defense too, coaches, is that it's all about numbers, right? It's all about, like, to me, an RPO offensive coordinator does not want to hand the ball off. They want to pull the ball. They want to get the ball on the perimeter to their more athletic kids. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to put numbers where they think they have numbers. So for us, Apache is 4/3. So we're basically playing Tampa coverage. So hard corner, deep half safety, hook curl defender with the Viper. The rover has 3 control if he's vertical. And what I mean by that is, like, if this dude runs a hitch, we're a lot, because what we'll do is we'll get 4 strong. We'll get the back to the trips. They'll fake inside zone and want to bang this hitch here. Well, that rover's sitting right there. And then we're going to play trap or invert coverage, that we call blue or Indiana, based on the alignment and width of this wideout. So if basically the corner has to tell the safety, like, hey, I can trap it, and then if we get speed option or something this way, I can still fit the run. So they'll make a blue call. If this dude's really, really wide, the corner's like, hey, man, I can't get there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make an Indiana call. So now we're playing invert 2, where the safety now is going to be the force flat defender, and then the corner's going to lock up. So 2 ways you can play invert, and it's all about what your kids are good at. Because, again, at the end of the day, This is about you putting your kids in the best position to be successful. So, like, if you're okay with him pressing and bailing into the half, awesome. If you'd rather just lock him up and take the thinking out of it, cool. That's up to you as a coach what you want to do. So this is our 3x1, and kind of what I'm doing for you coaches is like I'm going through our like first week spring football. Hey, it's the last weekend in April. This is how, because again, even though there's kids that played it, those dudes that played basketball, they played baseball, they're running track. Like we kind of got to teach it, reintroduce it, for ourselves. So that's our Apache Trips Open check. Now, the Rovers rules, and I apologize for not going over this. Let me go back to this slide. The Rovers rules in the base stuff is that he's always going to align to number 3. So now our Viper, so we're playing Tampa coverage here. We're basically playing press quarters here, and the number 3 is the back. So he's going to align at 8 yards over the back and be a low hole robber and a banana fit to the quarterback on zone read. So everybody else is going to play the back. You're telling your best player that you're going to be a slow delay banana fit if he gets inside zone away, because he's going to play the quarterback and everybody else is doing their job. All right. Now, getting into this picture, okay? All right. We're going to play what we call our 20 coverage to this. So basically, the rules for us dictate for the defensive line. If there's a Y in the core, okay, to that side Y, we're going to play a 5 technique. So right here, we have straight 11 personnel. Our Viper is left, so we're playing Tampa 2 here. Our number 3, all right, is right here. We're going to line up over number 3, and we're basically going to play 0 coverage to the Y side. So everything for the box stays the same, and that's why I like it. Is our 2 inside backers and our 3 D linemen don't have to think in the 3-down stuff. It's like, here we are. This is our rule. Now, again, will we sit in this? Absolutely not. We have other stuff that we do. But this is like I tell my kids, we're not going to get to the fun stuff if you don't learn the basic stuff. We're not going to put the cart before the horse. Okay. So this is to us to 11 personnel right here. 0 to this side, Tampa 2 to this side, Rover over number 3. Our box remains intact. And what I really do like about this is the simplicity of it, but also going into that with the secondary is that we're a big post-snap rotation team. So for the most part, we're going to start and press too high and move post-snap rotation. And again, the box integrity remains the same. So our kids don't have to do a whole lot of thinking. So that's true 11 personnel. Now, here's 3x1 attached. So basically this is Apache, but it's an attached Y as opposed to a detached 3x1 open. So unless we're doubling somebody, our single receiver rules never change. We're either going to trap it or invert it based on that guy's width. So here we go. So we got Tampa coverage here, Rovers over number 3. We have a run defender, whether it's a corner or a safety, and then our box integrity remains the same. And again, we're going to be a 5 technique here, to the Y side. So that is the core of kind of how we're going to kind of evolve. And one of our base checks going in to the spring will be our mint check, where basically we play a 0 and 2 4 eyes. Our Rover now becomes this apex defender. Now we can play Tampa coverage. We can play trap. And what I mean by trap is this: some coaches think trap, and they think 2 read. It's not 2 read. It's the corners are going to undercut number 1, eyes to 2, waiting for 2 to break out. These apex defenders on a pass have number 2 vertical or in. The safeties are going to weave over top of number 1 because the corners are undercutting. So, if you think about it, Tampa corners are jamming really hard outside leverage, all right? And then the safeties are playing halves. Well, now the corners are undercutting 1, waiting for 2 to bubble or break out. And now the safeties are over top of number 1. So, but that's kind of our what I should say, like, is one of our first kind of like our first checks as we get into the progression of the defense. All right, Coach. One thing I wanted to kind of show the coaches is Guys, this is my website. It's the fbcoachgibbs.com. So like we have a whole bunch of things. So the system, kind of talks about the system here in this little video, the breakdown of the courses, where you can get it.
And Coach,
yeah.
So you're still on your presentation. You got to share your your actual tab.
I told you I wasn't really good with this technology stuff. Bro.
It's all good.
let me get on this real quick. There we go. Share. Beautiful. I think this should be good. Good now?
Yep, you're good.
Awesome. Okay. So this is the website. So if you're interested in the system itself, this kind of gives you a breakdown here of the courses. And, we talk about it. The one thing we really hang our hat on is the havoc rate. So basically what we do every game is we take sacks and TFLs, INTs, forced fumbles, and third down stops. And we divide them over total number of plays. And then we get that before every game. I didn't make that up. That was my mentor's Coach Brown. So I got that from Coach. I'm not taking any credit for that. That was something he came up with that I asked him if I could use. He was cool with it. If you guys want any consultations or installs, coaching material, CoachTube courses, there's free downloads here. There's a call sheet. There's a huddle presentations, my presentation from the AFCA. The system workbook will be out in 3 weeks. This is through the Coach Sportsbook. If you want a Coach Sportsbook, this is this is something that we just added today. Actually, if you want a basic video, it's about a 20-minute YouTube video. I did it with Chris at Victory IQ. It goes through like 10 and 11, 12 personnel. Like if you're going to install the defense in the spring, it's a really good resource. Books, if you guys want some gear, and then podcasts. And then, we got the testimonials here. I was, obviously privileged to have Coach Brown write one. Coach Golden, I've known for a long, long time. And Coach Maines in Tennessee, and Coach Simpson, and Coach Bolin, who coached for me down in Florida. He's now the assistant D-line coach at Arizona. And then Coach Green's at Tulane now. But he's a really, really good dude too. So, but Coach, I appreciate you having me on, man. I could, talk, all day about defense, but man, I hope everything goes well, and I'm looking forward to, I think, the coordinator thing, right? You were talking about doing in the spring.
Yeah, so we usually do 2 or 3 clinics in the wintertime and spring. Hopefully, I'm thinking about putting it together probably in March, mainly after the Glacier Circuit's gone. So it'll be mid-March, late March, something like that. But yeah, the coordinator clinic be coming out then.
Cool. No, I'm looking forward to it, man. But I wish you the best with your O-line stuff. I think honestly, that's one of the most underappreciated and overlooked positions in the game. And I think what you guys do for it is awesome.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate you coming on, talking a little bit of defense, because I'm an offensive guy, but you got to know your enemy, right? So I love having defensive guys come on and talk, especially having you come on, giving us some nuggets for your defense. And guys, if anybody wants to check out Coach's stuff, he's on Twitter, right? He's PJ Gibbs. You can find his defense. He has a page for that as well. And he's all over the place, right? Especially if you're connected with like Kenny Simpson or anything like that, you can find Coach Gibbs stuff there usually as well. So, but Coach, I really do appreciate you coming on.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir.